Creep on in,
Who's the last one? Hold on. Blue punch on. He's right here. That's what I'm telling you. Hold on. Bro, he just said hold on. Hey, you still working in? Hold on.
Bro, he just told you to hold on. Now you gotta wait, bro. You're not coming in.
Yeah, really?
No.
That's all.
Just told you to wait, bro. Just wait.
Back up, sir, please. Back up.
creep on in,
Arrest after this video shows a group of men assaulting officers in Times Square. The incident taking place Saturday around 8:30 in the evening. According to police, officers tried to break up a disorderly group on West 42nd Street. When police tried to take the person dressed in yellow into custody, that's when things took a turn. And the group began attacking the officers. Several people repeatedly punched and kicked the officers in the head and body. Police initially arrested 4 people and then a 5th person on Monday. They face charges including assault on a police officer, gang assault, and disorderly conduct. According to the New York Post, those who were arrested and charged are migrants.
Concerns in Harlem tonight after violence erupted outside a migrant shelter over the weekend.
A group of disorderly men were seen throwing objects at people walking by. Fox 5's Christine Russo joins us live from Harlem. Christine, what do we know about what happened?
Natasha, Steve, so yesterday police told us that a group of migrant men staying at this shelter started this fight yesterday morning by throwing objects at people who were just walking by here.
Tonight we take a ground-level look at the effects of crime committed by illegal immigrants, many of whom have been deported multiple times. Correspondent Steve Harrigan reports tonight from Jacksonville, Florida.
Mugshots tell the stories in brief. The bigger story involves a revolving door of undocumented migrants. Mexican national Hector Eduardo Ramirez Gutierrez has been arrested for dealing meth and deported from the U.S. 7 times.
Yeah, it's not a problem. It's a epidemic.
For those on the front line, the frustration is evident.
Our primary mission, our primary goal has got to be to get the illegal alien committing felonies out of this country and keep them out.
It's still unclear this afternoon how someone broke into this Gage Park migrant shelter early this morning. City leaders say they're trying to get to the bottom of what happened, while one female migrant we spoke with says this morning's scary incident has put her on edge. 15th Ward Alderman Raymond Lopez takes a walk with members of the mayor's office, the Chicago Department of Public Health, and staffers at the Gage Park migrant shelter after a man somehow broke in after 2:15 this morning.
Was this intentional because of the migrants? Was this a mental health breakdown? What was this really about?
Lopez says the intruder got into the women's dormitory through this side door that was supposed to be locked, but did not make contact with any of the migrants, while Chicago police tell us the man pointed his finger at the women inside and then ran off. One witness told police she saw the outline of what looked like a gun on the suspect, but a firearm was never seen.
Pair of migrants have been arrested in a suburban Buffalo area accused of sex crimes. The latest arrest happening over the weekend, the second in as many weeks. Officials there are now calling for a complete stop on the transportation of migrants to the Buffalo area, while immigration advocates in Western New York say the actions of two men are not representative of the hundreds that have been sent there from New York City over the past 2 months. Our Jorge Ventura has more on this developing story. Jorge.
Yeah, good morning, Marky. Those two migrant sex crime arrests have sparked outrage from local officials in Western New York. Frustrated leaders in Erie County are now putting a pause on accepting any more migrants, at least until security efforts show up. This is coming after authorities in Cheektowaga arrested 22-year-old Kindu Jinsi on Friday on charges of sex abuse and unlawful imprisonment. The migrant is from the Republic of Congo and is being accused of attacking an employee inside a hotel.
Among those who've been apprehended on the southern border, but between ports of entry, more than 300 individuals who are on our terror watch list. Terrorist watch list. The frightening question is, if so many terrorists were caught attempting to cross our borders, how many have entered undetected?
A police presence was visible tonight on Randall's Island, a day after a man was stabbed in the neck. Cell phone video given to us by a migrant shows the chaos. This woman had just walked in when she saw the victim screaming for help. The man was stabbed. He was screaming, saying he was stabbed in the neck by one of the security guards. She did not want to be identified, but says a group of Venezuelan men got into some type of argument that escalated into a fight. Security got involved. You can see them in the video wearing the yellow vests. 18 people were arrested.
New at 5, a pair of Venezuelan migrants has been charged with stealing almost $3,000 in merchandise from the Oak Brook Mall. Police arrested Luis Mendez Gomez and Frank Montes Davila. They were arrested yesterday and now charged with felony burglary and retail theft. Mendez Gomez was also cited for driving without a license. Police say the men went into Oak Brook Macy's with 2 bags and started filling them with items. Officers took them into custody not long after. The bags allegedly contained 16 high-end fragrances and a pair of pants. This is the second time in a little more than a week that migrants have been charged with stealing from the Oak Brook Macy's. prominent alderman, is calling on Mayor Johnson to address what he describes as disruptive and dangerous behavior among Chicago's new migrant population. Alderman Ray Lopez, whose ward does include that Gage Park shelter, says his constituents have witnessed gang recruitment efforts, drug use, sex acts, and prostitution. He says many migrants are, quote, joyfully ignoring curfews, and heroin abuse is a growing concern there.
Migrants looking for fast cash to get a job can wind up as pawns in a criminal operation.
Many of them caught stealing in order to pay for fake IDs to gain employment. Artia Ewing live downtown with the undercover bust tonight.
Well, let me tell you more about that bust. The fake ID ring was busted just 5 days ago. The crooks were selling these phony IDs for $150 each. It was all uncovered inside of a little village home. And once investigators were inside, they also uncovered $7,200 in cash and what they believed to be meth.
Night, only Eyewitness News was there as an army of police fanned out at migrant facilities throughout the city, targeting a problem that's exploded in recent months: unregistered scooters, which cops say have become a persistent quality of life issue, particularly in Manhattan.
We had to come here and we had to do our job.
The first order of business here was they went for the bikes. Dozens of bikes without registrations, some with plates stolen off other bikes somewhere in the city, all immediately carted away on a police flatbed.
The NYPD tonight also announcing they are cracking down on illegal motorized scooters. They've been doing it this past week, impounding a number of vehicles on the Upper West Side. In the melee, a police officer was slapped, reportedly by a migrant. But as Fox 5's Ashley Rodriguez reports, many motorized bikes are being used by migrants struggling to find work when they don't have permits.
All right, let's get on with it. One's in the chat if you can hear me loud, crisp, and clear, and we'll get this party started. Man, we are going to do a thorough breakdown of the migrant crime wave that no one wants to talk about. I mean, everyone's talking about the migrant crisis by and large, but everyone's overlooking the recent crime wave, and we're going to do a thorough analysis of what's going on, the reasons why, and how the authorities are attempting to combat it. But ladies and gentlemen, above all else, we are going to dispel a myth tonight. We are going to, and see, I just had a Freudian slip. These migrants are out here selling meth. I just said I said we're gonna dispel a myth tonight, y'all. They out here slinging the hard narcotics as soon as they cross the border. We're going to dispel a myth tonight, and that myth is of the hard-working migrant. That myth is of the, although I'm illegal, I'm a net positive to America. I'm out here working the fields and toiling the soil and doing the jobs that no one else wants to do. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't see any farms in New York City. I don't know what net positive the citizens of Chicago and New York are getting from these migrants, but we know that there's an increase in crime. We know that there's a crime wave, and I'm talking everything from men from the Congo sexually assaulting female staff at a hotel. Yeah, that guy right here, yeah. The darker skinned one. That man's from the Congo, and he chose to sexually assault a woman who was working at the hotel that he got so lucky to get free room and board at. Or we can talk about the one beside him who I believe was also brought up on sexual related charges. I mean, we've got the migrants that are attacking police officers. We've got the migrants that are selling meth, prostituting, and everything in between. I mean, they come over here illegally. They engage in illegal activity for income. They even have illegal forms of transportation. So we're going to break this thing down from A to Z. Myths on top of myths on top of myths. And we're going to dispel them here tonight because, guys, if this is really a net positive to our society, if this is really a net positive to America, then we would see it. We would say, okay, the migrants came at this point, and now the cities are better, and now the roads are cleaner, and now the GDP is higher. But we're going to see that it is anything but. And with that said, hit the like button on the way in. Likes are free after all. And if you support the mission, hit the Cash App or the PayPal. Matter of fact, we already have a contribution coming through on the Cash App. Shabazz, thank you so much for the contribution. Let me go ahead and drop a bomb for you. Again, I hear a lot of people discussing the migrant crisis by and large, but not many people discussing the crime wave that is coming with it. So let's drop this bomb for Shabazz and get on into it.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox, continuing now with top stories and headlines of the day. On your screen right now, a live look out in New York City, Times Square to be specific. A group of 5 men have been arrested, accused of attacking a group of New York City police officers. Fox 5 New York's Lizette Nunez live in Times Square this morning with the latest on the charges these men now face. Lizette, good morning to you.
Good morning to you. And it was a horrific attack, and it was all caught on camera. Police ultimately put the surveillance video of that attack out to the public, as well as pictures of the suspects, which they believe led to additional arrests. Arrest after this video shows a group of men assaulting officers in Times Square.
Hey guys, after we see this footage, I'm going to ask you, do they get preferential treatment? Would there ever be Black Americans that successfully jump a motherfucking New York City police officer and kick his ass in the head and get arrested and get freed without posting bond? Oh Lord, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into it tonight. We're going to get into it. Not only are they coming here illegally, siphoning resources from our foundational Black American communities, but they're also getting away with doing things that we could never live to tell the story of. We're going to watch them kick, punch, hit, slap a couple New York City police officers, and they get caught. They get captured without getting shot, without getting tased. And then after they get arrested, they get released without even having to post bond, y'all. Come on. If this was some Black folks that did this, they would be shot in the streets. And in the footage, they'd say, see, they were assaulting an officer. So, you know, they feared for their life. So let's go.
Where the incident taking place Saturday around 8:30 in the evening. According to police, officers tried to break up a disorderly group on West 42nd Street. When police tried to take the person dressed in yellow into custody, that's when things took a turn and the group began attacking the officers. Several people repeatedly punched and kicked the officers in the head and body. Police initially arrested 4 people and then a 5th person.
Damn. Durfee, you're right. We would be in jail until trial, no bail. No bail. Or if there was bail, bail would be set at like $5 million or something crazy. Come on, let's talk about it.
On Monday, they face charges including assault on a police officer, gang assault, and disorderly conduct. According to the New York Post, those who were arrested and charged are migrants who were then released without bail. A quick search shows that at least one of the individuals who was arrested lives at a homeless shelter in.
Released without bail, lives at a homeless shelter. You telling me they migrated the very perilous pilgrimage, if you will, through the Mexican-U.S. border, come over here. They're staying in a shelter free of charge, benefits up the wazoo, and in their spare time when they're away from the shelter, they choose to jump on some police officers. And y'all want to tell me that these migrants are just humble, hardworking people that are going to do the jobs that no one wants to do type shit? Nah, miss me with that.
Brooklyn, and another at a migrant shelter in College Point, Queens. In a statement, the Police Benevolent Association writing, attacks on police officers are becoming an epidemic, and the reason is the revolving door we're seeing in cases like this one. It is impossible for police officers to deal effectively with crime and disorder if the justice system can't or won't protect us While we
Damn, it would have to be the Twilight Zone for there to be a scenario where Black Americans were attacking the police at such an alarming rate that the police were crying about it being an epidemic, y'all. The migrants is whooping the police ass so bad it's an epidemic, but we're supposed to just have the borders open and if you say anything anti-immigration, you're a racist, right? Come on.
do that to work. Officers that were attacked, they did have minor injuries, I should say, and they were treated at the scene. Police also telling us that one of the individuals who was arrested is a 24-year-old man by the name of Yorman Rebrin, who was also arrested twice last year, and he is facing robbery charges for those two incidents.
A repeat offender was already arrested twice last year for robbery, and now he's beating on a cop, and they still ain't deported his ass. He still ain't got a call from ICE. Oh, God. God, what's going on?
That's the latest here in Times Square. We'll send things back inside.
Lizette Nunez there with Fox 5 New York. Lizette, thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox with the very latest information. You enjoy the rest of your day.
Concerns in Harlem tonight after violence erupted outside a migrant shelter over the weekend.
A group of disorderly men were seen throwing objects at people walking by. Fox 5's Christine Russo joins us live from Harlem. Christine, what do we...
I thought these are just hardworking citizens who are trying to escape, genocide and terrible living conditions, and they just want to make it to America and take advantage of the American dream, they say, but they outside of the homeless shelter just fucking with people walking by, just trying to start fights with people like a 1980s fucking street gang of warriors. Like what the fuck is we talking about here?
Know about what happened?
Natasha, Steve, so yesterday police told us that a group of migrant men staying at this shelter started this fight yesterday morning by throwing objects at people who were just walking by here. But then today, police were no longer able to confirm that they were migrants.
Come on. Look how they give them the benefit of the doubt. Some migrants were starting shit. Well, actually, we can't really confirm they were migrants. They didn't speak English. They didn't have paperwork, but we're going to protect the migrant community and not, throw no salt in the game. And we're just going to say we don't know for certain if they were migrants, but they were outside of a migrant shelter, undocumented, non-English speakers.
Regardless, a fight did break out here and ultimately sent 2 people to the hospital. A Sunday morning fight outside a Harlem shelter sent 2 people to the hospital. Witnesses say a group of men standing outside the shelter at 31 Central Park North were throwing objects at people walking by. They say when a 35-year-old man tried to step in and stop them, he was pushed through a glass door of an apartment building. Then a 41-year-old man.
Damn, the migrants is wild and damn, say it ain't so. Maybe this is why their countries are in the state that they are currently in. These motherfuckers are vile. These motherfuckers are senile. They pushed the old man through the glass window for trying to stop a fight. Oh.
And tried to intervene in that attack and was also assaulted by the original group. Police say both victims were treated for their injuries at the hospital. Neighbors who have lived here for years say there's been a definite change.
I've had concerns in the last few months with an influx of new residents at the homeless shelter on the corner.
One woman we spoke to didn't want to show her face on camera, but says since the pandemic, there's been a feeling of unease.
I actually was attacked on the train down the station. Safety is not the word for New York.
Damn, the citizens of New York are being attacked on the trains by migrants. But it's supposed to be, hey, don't say nothing about the migrants. If you say something about the migrants, you a racist Trump supporter, y'all. Well, we supposed to love the migrants. Oh, we don't want them in our neighborhoods, though. We want to put them in your neighborhood.
I feel it now.
The fight started outside the former Lincoln Correctional Facility, which is now being used as a temporary shelter for asylum seekers and newly arrived migrants. People who live on this block say this particular shelter isn't the one they're really concerned with, but the other homeless shelter down the block on Lenox Avenue.
There's a lot of people hanging out at the homeless shelter now for the immigrants, and they don't seem to cause the problem, but the main shelter on Lenox Avenue is the one that we're concerned about for safety.
That poor sister whose neighborhood has been overrun by immigrants that are doing nothing but being degenerate scum of the earth. They starting fights, they jumping on cops. And I'm not one to protect or cape for no police officer, but it's just a principle alone. I mean, we couldn't get away with half this shit. Come on, we couldn't get away with even a quarter of this.
Police say they did arrest one man from the group for disorderly conduct, but the others took off. We asked people what they feel is needed here.
I need more cops around here.
Really how we can take care of people from health, mental health, and, and go from there.
Police tell me that one person is still in custody and their investigation is ongoing. We're live in Central Park North. Steve, back to you.
Thanks, Christine. Well,
tonight we take a ground-level look at the effects of crime committed by illegal immigrants, many of whom have been deported multiple times. Correspondent Steve Harrigan reports tonight.
Multiple times, deported multiple times. And actually, let me pause the show and drop a bomb. Thank you, Nicole, for the contribution on the PayPal. I appreciate you for supporting the broadcast. Let's keep on with the content. Come on, y'all. If y'all support the mission, put 5 on it. Hit the PayPal, hit the Cash App. They done demonetized my YouTube channel, but I'm still bringing you this fresh content, lacing you with this game. Let's go. Nobody wants to talk about the crime. Nobody wants to put a little compilation to give you the news in an easy-to-digest format, highlighting the crime wave that everybody's turning a blind eye to. Come on.
From Jacksonville, Florida.
Mugshots tell the stories in brief. The bigger story involves a revolving door of undocumented migrants. Mexican national Hector Eduardo Ramirez Gutierrez has been arrested for dealing meth and deported from the U.S. 7 times.
Yeah, it's not a problem. It's a epidemic.
For those on the front line, the frustration is evident.
Our primary mission, our primary goal has got to be to get the illegal alien committing felonies out of this country and keep them out.
Doing so will be a balancing act for the new administration. Any increase in deportations could have unintended economic consequences. Paul DeMar used to ship 80 truckloads of tomatoes a day, now just 20. He says he simply can't find Americans to pick tomatoes for $150 a day.
They really didn't take anybody's job, because the Americans aren't working in the fields. That I'm going to tell you.
Increased deport.
I don't see no farms on the East Coast like that. I don't see no farms in New York City. So for this dude, wherever he is, yeah, he wants to make sure he can keep hiring illegals to work for the low. But for all these other places where the illegals are just degenerates causing crime and havoc, I mean, don't give me this. They're just good farm workers that are doing what no one else wants to do. All right. Oh, and for everyone in the chat asking about my PayPal or my Cash App, it's actually at the bottom right of the screen. I'm not sure if you guys ever noticed that. I know it's pretty small compared to the media that we're covering. But yeah, the bottom right of the screen, Colonial 2020 for the Cash App, Mr. Real Estate 916 for the PayPal. And shout out to everybody watching the replay. Put hashtag replay gang in the comment section. And I appreciate all those who drop contributions, even though they missed the live stream and they're watching the replay. Shout out to y'all.
Consultations could decimate the food growing industry in Florida, Georgia, and California, where at least half of the workers are undocumented migrants.
If they don't do it properly and it's not executed properly, there's really going to be a backlash against the administration.
Deported, came back.
That means being able to separate, arrest, and deport people like Maria Concepcion. She was deported back to Mexico once already, but the sheriff says she came back to restart her meth smuggling operation that netted her $70,000 a month. But that was not all. She was also receiving $900 a month in food stamps at the time of her arrest. Now,
Damn, don't give me this bullshit about the welfare queen being some black chick. Y'all got these dirty ass illegal immigrants coming over here to start meth rings, making $70,000 a month and getting food stamps while she's making $70,000 a month. Yeah, don't tell me nothing about a black woman being a welfare queen again.
she faces 27 years in U.S. prison at the U.S. taxpayers' expense. Her colleague, Ignacio Munoz Delgado, accused cocaine dealer, arrested, deported to Mexico in 2010, then arrested once again by the Polk County Sheriff's Office with enough weapons, AR-15 assault rifles, shotguns, handguns, to outfit a platoon. These are violent criminals who continue to beat the system, law enforcement officials say, even after they've been arrested. Brett?
Steve Harrigan live in Jacksonville. Steve, thank you.
It's still unclear this afternoon how someone broke into this Gage Park migrant shelter early this morning. City leaders say they're trying.
Oh yeah, and shout out to the white folks. Shout out to the white folks. They sure know how to organize. Yeah, TK, there's a convoy called the Guards Army. Yeah, all them truckers are going down to Texas, doing some tailgate party, doing some kind of demonstration, and damn, it seemed like that came out the blue. So shout out to the Mayo folks. They sure do know how to organize.
To get to the bottom of what happened, while one female migrant we spoke with says this morning's scary incident has put her on edge. 15th Ward Alderman Raymond Lopez takes a walk with members of the mayor's office, the Chicago Department of Public Health, and staffers at the Gage Park migrant shelter after a man somehow broke in after 2:15 this morning.
Was this intentional because of the migrants? Was this a mental health breakdown? What was this really about?
Lopez says the intruder got into the women's dormitory through this side door that was supposed to be locked, but did not make contact with any of the migrants, while Chicago police tell us the man pointed his finger at the women inside and then ran off. One witness told police she saw the outline of what looked like a gun on the suspect, but a firearm was never seen.
At 2 a.m. while you have women sleeping.
Strange things going on with the migrants, y'all. Strange things indeed. Come on. JJ says, Mike TV, this may be controversial, but I think we need to veto the law that forbids our felons from practicing the Second Amendment as long as they have a track record of staying out of trouble. Yeah, that's something to look into, as well as restoring their right to vote. You know, and actually, I think Texas is a state that still allows previous felons to carry. So, yeah. But at the end of the day, our government would much rather have an illegal immigrant, undocumented, get a weapon and a badge and start policing. It was San Diego, I believe, that actually was trying to pass a law to where undocumented illegals could apply for the police academy and become officers. So, yeah, it's getting real strange. You may be pulled over by a tether real soon.
Peacefully. The last
Hey, you lazy akata nigga, you know why I pulled you over?
thing we need is for some errant man to be walking into their dormitory, yelling and pointing at them.
This migrant from Venezuela staying at the Gage Park shelter did not want to be identified. She says she was there when the man got in. She says some women who were headed to the restroom saw someone on the balcony, and the man told us to shut up and not to say anything, and we were scared. Lopez says safety at the shelters is a multi-tiered effort between private security, Chicago police, and the Chicago Park District. He says making sure city shelters are secure is critical.
We need to make sure that when we have a shelter like this, or any shelter for that matter, that we are doing perimeter checks, that all the doors are locked, and that all the stations that are manned.
Yeah, Keyshawn, I can imagine it now. Where you niggas going? You niggas got fried chicken or drugs on you. You boys in the hood, huh?
Are fully manned.
As the city investigates the matter, another migrant we spoke with says she's now concerned for her safety. She says, I don't feel safe because if someone can get in then, it can happen again. And what if that time, the worst happens? Chicago police tell us no one is in custody as detectives continue to investigate this break-in.
Watch breaking news on YouTube. Subscribe to ABC7 Chicago Eyewitness News.
Subscribe to Mike TV, giving you the real spiel. Come on. We got to bring this information together for the court of public opinion. Y'all ain't got time to be watching this news station, that news station, that news station, that news station. Plus, you know that the news is really different from local jurisdiction to local jurisdiction. So subscribe to Mike TV. I'll get you all the news in one location.
A pair of migrants have been arrested in a suburban Buffalo area accused of sex crimes. The latest arrest happening over the weekend, the second in as many weeks. Officials there are now calling for a complete stop on the transportation of migrants to the Buffalo area, while immigration advocates in Western New York say the actions of two men are not representative of the hundreds that have been sent there from New York City.
And they're still trying to get, we got illegal immigrants sexually assaulting United States citizens, and they're talking about, oh, well, the actions of a couple don't reflect the many. It still says a lot. The fact that this is going on at all says a lot. And the fact that you guys have no safeguards to protect against it, come on. Who was it in the chat? Alfonso said them countries are emptying their jails. Exactly.
Over the past 2 months. Our Jorge Ventura has more on this developing story. Jorge.
Yeah, good morning, Marky. Those 2 migrant sex crime arrests have sparked outrage from local officials in Western New York. Frustrated leaders in Erie County are now putting a pause on accepting any more migrants, at least until security efforts show up. This is coming after authorities in Cheektowaga arrested 22-year-old Kindu Jinsi on Friday on charges of sex abuse and unlawful imprisonment. The migrant is from the Republic of Congo and is being accused of attacking a
Yes, yes, Kingo, whatever the fuck from the Congo. This is him. Exhibit A. This is that right there is the man we talking about, that dusty ass mushmouth tether that was lucky enough to get a free hotel stay and saw a worker in the hallway and chose, you know what? I think I want to sexually penetrate her against her will. Like these nasty ass scumbag bastards. Come on, y'all. Come on. We got to close the borders. We got to delineate. We got to check paperwork and hairlines. These motherfuckers is tripping. And if you're new to the broadcast, smash that like button, hit the Cash App or the PayPal if you support new black media. I'm a one-man band, but I know somebody out there got 5 on it, y'all. Let's go. Let's go. Show your support.
Inside a hotel. The victim was working for an organization assisting asylum seekers at a hotel being used to shelter migrants arriving from New York City. The hotel sits across the street from a residential neighborhood. Cheektowaga Police Chief Brian Gold is calling for the hotel to be shut down as a shelter for migrants.
I'm asking that for the immediate discontinued use of the Best Western Hotel on Dingens Street. The hotel is located in a residential neighborhood and is causing
You want to get a migrant shelter shut down, you got to wait until a couple U.S. citizens get sexually assaulted. Come on now. Is this what it takes? Is this really what it takes?
not only safety concerns to nearby residents, but also quality of life issues.
A Venezuelan migrant named Jesus Guzman Bermudez also is being accused of raping a woman in front of a 3-year-old child. Earlier this month, officials say
in front of a 3-year-old child. In front of a 3-year-old child. I'll say it again for the people in the back. In front of a 3-year-old child. Put a 1 in the chat if this is your first time hearing this news story. Put a 1 in the chat if you didn't know that these migrants was coming over here raping women in front of little babies and shit. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? Come on. I want to know. I want to honestly do a poll. Put a 1 in the chat if this is your first time hearing this. Put a 2 in the chat if you're familiar with the story. And we've got not just 1, not just 2, but we got a few stories of these migrants sexually assaulting women. Come on. Make it make sense. Restless Face says, fuck shutting it down. Send them to fuck out the U.S. Yes. What's good, Jam? Nice to see you. And I'm seeing nothing but 1s. Come on. I'm seeing nothing but 1s. Hit the like button, y'all. Put 5 on the Cash App or the PayPal. Come on, I'm giving you that news. Next time you talk to a friend at the water cooler about the migrant crisis and they talking about how they're such good hard workers. Wait, have you heard about the migrants that's out here raping people?
26-year-old and the victim were staying in a hotel in Cheektowaga funded by the Adams administration when this happened. New York leaders are now calling for New York Governor Kathy Hochul to send the National Guard to Erie County, which the governor has accepted, and Mayor Adams has accepted not sending any more migrants to Erie County. This is also coming as Erie County leaders are looking for reimbursement from New York City for sheltering around 540 migrants in the county.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't.
That's wild, y'all. That is wild. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, do so. I also have a new channel called Diaspora Wars, where we discuss our diaspora-related content. You know, all my banging on tethers and multi-hour podcasts are over there on the Diaspora War channel. So make sure to check the link in the chat and subscribe to that channel.
Catastrophe at our southern border. It is because the border has been deliberately opened wide that we see the terrific horrors that are taking place across our country right now. Here's a short list. From Texas to New York, waves of illegal immigrants are now overwhelming our communities. Just since the time I was elected Speaker, less than 100 days ago, more than 700,000 illegals have been welcomed into our country illegally by the Biden administration. American school children have been forced into virtual schools. Why? So migrants can sleep in their school buildings.
Come on. Come on. It's like COVID all over again. These kids got to do remote learning. Why? Is it a pandemic? No, because the migrants have to sleep in our classrooms. What? The migrants who turn out to be predators, criminal agitators. We're going to kick out our students to give them 3 hots and a cot. Okay.
Korean War veterans of the U.S. have been booted from nursing homes that were sold to house migrants. Our streets are being flooded with fentanyl. Hundreds of thousands of children and adults are being poisoned and losing their lives. Vulnerable children and women are being exploited and trafficked by cartels, and that's happening even within our borders. The fallout goes on and on and on. And I am here this morning to beg of my colleagues to help us force the administration to take action. We have to stop this now and put Americans and Americans' border security first. Among those who've been apprehended on the southern border, but between ports of entry, more than 300 individuals who are on our terror watch list.
300 terrorists apprehended at the border. Y'all, if they apprehended 300 terrorists, how many terrorists do you think snuck through successfully? If they apprehended 300, then could we say 500 made it through? Could we say 1,000 made it through? Let's go the opposite end of the spectrum. Let's say they captured 300, but even 100 made it through. Even 50, even 20, even 1. Yeah, they allowing terrorists to come. And it's all a ploy. It's all a setup. If we wanted to secure our borders, we could, we would. But this kills multiple birds with one stone. This creates disarray, chaos among the American population, infighting, if you will. We do have a new cheap labor buffer class. And if some of these terrorists come over here and do a couple of terrorist acts, Uncle Sam has an excuse to go over to their country and fuck them up and steal all their resources. So, hey, it's the American way, as American as apple pie.
Terrorist watch list. The frightening question is, if so many terrorists were caught attempting to cross our borders, how many have entered undetected? We suspect it is a much higher number. The Biden administration has replaced detain and deport with catch and release. Instead of order, they have chosen for us disorder and chaos. Rather than securing the homeland, they've ceded the homeland to cartels and traffickers. By the way, at the Del Rio sector alone, at Eagle Pass, Texas, they told us the cartels are estimated, I think they said they're making $3.5 million a day trafficking human beings into the country. Do the math.
I'm in the wrong business, y'all. I need to sell out. I need to stop YouTube. I need to go down south and help some of them get over. Oh, you said 3 million a day? Wait, what? Never mind. Let me scrub the internet of all of my migrant-related content. I am for you guys coming over. Can somebody send me a email with the phone number to the cartel representative? I have to, get set up with. What is going on, y'all?
Making over $1 billion a year, bringing undocumented children, trafficked children, victims right into the country and bringing them in. They're doing this intentionally. They have chosen disorder and chaos. They have ceded the homeland to the traffickers and the cartels. And the Department of Homeland Security has effectively become a taxi driver to just help traffickers complete the last few miles of their human smuggling.
And Marvin, thank you so much for the Cash App. I appreciate the contribution. Thank you all for showing up and showing out. You can be anywhere in the world this evening, but you're here with me. And I appreciate the support, especially from people like Marvin. Thank you for sponsoring the broadcast.
Operation. And they're making billions of dollars in the process. It's all absolute madness.
As the president and his team continue working to deliver a historic bipartisan agreement on the border, House Republicans have a choice to make. They can keep playing politics, or they can work in a bipartisan way to secure the border. Sadly, this is not new. For years, they have refused to heed the president's request for action on much needed funding for border security. For example, in the bill the president introduced in his first day in office more than 1,000 days ago, he requested funding to develop and deploy expediting screening technology to improve.
We don't believe you. We don't believe you. It ain't no funding issue. It ain't no budget issue. We could close down the border. We could secure the border if we really wanted to. We can make it so that no drugs got in, no illegals got in, but God damn it, drugs and illegals, that's American as apple pie, ain't it?
Our ability to catch narcotics and contraband at every port of entry. Republicans never acted on the bill. Each year in office, President Biden has requested record-breaking border security funding into law, but without exception.
They got a baby wrapped up in some tinfoil. Is that a leg, y'all? Hold on, is that a leg? Is that a little baby wrapped up in some tinfoil? I'm confused. I thought he was getting a bundle of drugs, some narcotics off the vessel. I think, is that a little horchata? Is that a little horchata? I think that's a leg, y'all. I think that's a leg. They got that little baby wrapped up like a burrito. Some tinfoil, y'all. All right. All right.
House Republicans have tried to stop the president from delivering the resources we need at the border. As recently as October, President Biden submitted a supplemental request for additional resources for border security. House Republicans did not take it up. Now, House Republicans are going further and signaling that they may refuse even to consider a historic bipartisan border security deal that would strengthen America's national security.
Why does listening to her just make my blood boil? It just gives me real ick vibes. It's just like, I don't know. I've never listened to her before. I don't watch news or anything. I know she's the White House correspondent or whatever the hell her title is, but just listening to her just gives me such gross vibes. I don't know what it is exactly.
Perhaps Speaker Johnson and House Republicans should reflect on what they've had to say.
Oh, is that what it is, Keyshawn? Is she a tether? That would make sense. My tether senses are tingling, and I didn't even realize it. My tether senses were tingling. I knew something didn't feel right. My hair was standing up on my arms. I had goosebumps. Tell me she's a tether, y'all. What?
Over just the past few months. In October, Speaker Johnson said, we must come together and address the broken border. And in November, he said, I think we can get a bipartisan agreement on border security. But suddenly, we've heard a change.
Oh, that's what it is, Chad. She's a tether and a rainbow community. Oh, Lord, I was getting a double ick. I was getting a triple ick. I was getting the quadruple ick. Yeah, it's the government. Oh, it's the government, y'all. Let's go.
It's the government. It's the government. The government. The government. The government, it's the government, it's the government, the government, it's the government, it's the government, it's the government, the government, the government, the government, it's the government, it's the government, the government, it's the government, it's the government, it's the government, the government.
Hey, it's the government, y'all. And speaking of the government, make sure to click the link in the chat to the merch store. We've got official It's the Government merchandise. If y'all want to see a picture of Granny twerking on a t-shirt, if y'all want to see them tethers doing the tether two-step, then click the link floating around in the chat and check out the merch store.
One Republican member from Texas even said, why would they do anything to help President Biden? This is about helping the president. This is about helping the American people. It's not about helping the president. It's about the American people. This is about securing the border. Republicans in the Senate are working with us to do just that. Republicans in the House should as well.
When they said they were going to cut the wire down there and let them start crossing the border again, they need to close the borders. I grew up in Arizona, man. It was never a problem like that. This is crazy. Our country's being overtaken.
I would love to see Governor Landry.
That's one of them good old boys. One of them, they took our jobs. Hey, you know things are going, you know there's weird things going on when the blacks and the whites have an issue to ride with one another on. I mean, it's just it's strange dealings when the deep South Confederate whites and the good old black folk from the city have a similar issue that we agree with, have a similar plight, a similar fight, if you will. I mean, come on. We need to get alongside them boys in the pickup truck and go go down to the border and let them know they need to close that shit.
Support Governor Abbott with the National Guard, with whatever resources that we can do, that we can help, because really all states in America have become a border state. We're all seeing this influx and being invaded. As Governor Abbott said, it is an invasion. I don't really know how it's going to play out. I just applaud Governor Abbott's courage and the other governors who stood with him. Hopefully it will make a difference. Hopefully this is a wake-up call for President Biden and for Congress to say people are sick of it.
Well, new questions tonight over the safety and living conditions near a migrant shelter on Randall's Island.
All right, the latest incident caught by our camera involves a woman being carried away after suffering some sort of medical incident in the freezing cold.
This comes after a man was stabbed yesterday. Jessica Formoso has the latest.
A police presence was visible tonight on Randall's Island, a day after a man was stabbed in the neck. Cell phone video given to us by a migrant
Damn, that's how the migrants get down, y'all. Y'all would think they would have stopped at the sexual assault. They would have stopped at the rape. They would have stopped at the meth rings. They would have stopped at the prostitution. Now they shanking one another. But these migrants are just, hardworking people that got, a bad rap, and they drew the short end of the stick at life, and we just need to help them. We just need to help our fellow man. They coming over here wilding, y'all. They coming over here being degenerates.
The chaos. This woman had just walked in when she saw the victim screaming for help. The man was stabbed. He was screaming, saying he was stabbed in the neck by one of the security guards. She did not want to be identified, but says a group of Venezuelan men got into some type of argument that escalated into a fight. Security got involved. You can see them in the video wearing the yellow vests. 18 people were arrested. They call this place the death shelter, said Angel, who arrived in New York Friday morning.
They call it the death shelter. Damn, y'all are such degenerate people that they have a nickname for your housing project, and it's called the death shelter. Y'all, we ain't never heard of the projects be called the death projects or nothing. I mean, oh Lord, oh Lord. It's interesting because with our communities, they had to flood it with drugs, limited resources. They had to do so much to us socially, social economically, for us to divulge into that criminal way, into that criminal element. But these motherfuckers are just with it straight off the boat. Straight off the boat, getting a free hotel stay. Oh no, I'm gonna do a crime. Getting a free stay at a shelter, money in your pocket. Oh no, I'm gonna go out here and do some crimes.
He was placed here at Randall's Island, but says from the moment he walked in, people told him to watch his back. Before something happens to me, I'd rather be somewhere else. I'm going to ask to be transferred to another shelter, or if they can get me on a flight to another state. Migrants we spoke to say they sleep with one eye open and one eye shut, fearing they will be attacked. This stabbing comes less than 2 weeks after a 24-year-old man was stabbed to death in...
They don't even trust each other. They don't even trust themselves. They said they have to sleep with one eye open, y'all. They got to sleep with one eye open. Imagine if there was a bunch of foundational Black Americans down on their luck, living in a homeless shelter. Just Black people, right? Just good old Black Americans. I don't think that we would be warring with one another to where we're stabbing each other, to where we have to sleep with one eye open. Y'all, they don't even get along with themselves. And we expect them to come along and get along with us?
Inside this same shelter, we reached out to City Hall asking if they are aware of how unsafe some migrants feel, but we have not heard back. As we were out here reporting on the stabbings, our camera caught the moment a migrant woman suffered a medical emergency. She was unconscious, just kept having seizures, said this migrant who came to her aid but did not want to be identified. The young woman, who they call Dani.
Guys, I've been down on my luck. I was in a homeless shelter not too long ago. I've seen that before. That's them drugs. That's them narcotics, y'all. That's them narcotics. Seizures. There's certain things that induce a seizure, y'all. Y'all, they coming out here tweaking off that Fenty, robbing, stealing, stabbing, raping, killing, and we supposed to give them all of the benefits. We're supposed to give them all of the grace. They arrest them and then release them without even making them post bail. What is going on, y'all? What is going on?
has been living in one of these tents steps away from the city's makeshift shelter for weeks. According to those who live with her, they say she was complaining of the cold moments prior to suffering the seizure. And we still don't know the condition of that young lady who suffered that medical emergency. All we know is that she was taken to a local hospital. At Randall's Island, I'm Jessica Formoso.
All we know is some Narcan was administered and she was okay.
Fox 5 News.
New at 5, a pair of Venezuelan migrants has been charged with stealing almost $3,000 in merchandise from the Oak Brook Mall. Police arrested Luis Mendez Gomez and Frank
Come on,
Montes
y'all, let's talk
Davila.
about it. Let's talk about it. We get some people that go and do some smashing and grabbing and some stealing from the malls, and it's, oh, you black people are going all across the nation stealing, but no one wants to talk about the immigrant burglary rings going on right now. Okay.
They were arrested yesterday and now charged with felony burglary and retail theft. Mendez Gomez was also cited for driving without a license. Police say the men went into Oak Brook Macy's with 2 bags and started filling them with items.
Also, without a driver's license, I mean, the first thought that comes to my head is, damn, he was riding dirty. But when you come over here illegally, well, your whole existence is riding dirty. I mean, come on. Just you being on American soil, breathing and living is riding dirty. So what's another crime to them?
Officers took them into custody not long after. The bags allegedly contained 16 high-end fragrances and a pair of pants. This is the second time in a little more than a week that migrants have been charged with stealing from the Oak Brook Macy's.
Prominent alderman is calling on Mayor Johnson to address what he describes as disruptive and dangerous behavior among Chicago's new migrant population. Alderman Ray Lopez, whose ward does include that Gage Park shelter, says his constituents have witnessed gang recruitment efforts, drug use, sex acts, and prostitution. He says many migrants are, quote,
they prostituting, y'all. FBA family, don't let nobody else tell you some bullshit about the migrants, because Mike TV is lacing you up with this good game. Mike TV is giving you some ammunition next time you have your conversation about the migrants. They coming over here prostituting, stabbing, robbing, killing, raping, and causing a whole bunch of havoc. So when they give us this fallacy, when they give us this myth about the hard-working migrant that's just doing the jobs that we don't want to do, well, I guess they have a little bit of a point. We don't want to be rapists. We don't want to be criminals. We don't want to be prostitutes, but they do.
Joyfully ignoring curfews, and heroin abuse is a growing concern there. Now, with an estimated 5,500 asylum seekers here in Chicago right now, that's a number that continues to go up. He sent a letter to Mayor Brandon Johnson calling for an immediate crackdown on such behavior.
We know this crisis is not ending anytime soon. We need to show that we are willing to address those issues that are negatively impacting local communities. We heard about it this week at Woodlawn, and we need to be able to nip it in the bud early.
Right now, Chicago is housing migrants at 14 shelters across the country, but the migrant population at police stations is reportedly back on the uptick, right now estimated to be at nearly 900 individuals.
Migrants looking for fast cash to get a job can wind up as pawns in a criminal operation.
Many of them caught stealing in order to pay for fake ID.
What? Another criminal ring? Another organized crime ring by the migrants? Come on, y'all. They about to break down how they shoplift and steal so that they can get fake documents so that they then can get legitimate jobs. Come on.
To gain employment. Artia Ewing live downtown with the undercover bus tonight.
Well, let me tell you more about that bus. The fake ID ring was busted just 5 days ago. The crooks were selling these phony IDs for $150 each. It was all uncovered inside of a Little Village home. And once investigators were inside, they also uncovered $7,200 in cash and what they believed to be meth. This is where the investigation started. Migrants being arrested repeatedly on the Mag Mile for retail theft. And once they were interviewed, they explained why.
They were then being able to either buy or trade for
Damn, the migrants got to whistleblowing. They got to snitching. They said, okay, Papi, okay, chill, relax. Let me go no bail, Papi. Let me go no bail. I tell you the scenario. So we steal the clothes and we take the clothes to Hector, okay? Hector takes the clothes and gives it to Marta. Marta takes the clothes and sells them. And then with the money that Marta gives Hector, Hector goes to Juan. And Juan gives us some fake papers, okay? That's how the whole operation goes, Papi. Now let us go free.
Social security numbers cards or American permanent residency cards. And this story we were getting over and over again.
This is what the migrants were bartering for, fake IDs, in order to secure employment.
And then the vast majority of them are released.
Nearly 500 fake IDs were uncovered, social security cards, driver's licenses, and American permanent residency cards. A ledger was found keeping track of their crimes and wads of cash.
Dang, I'm in the wrong business, y'all. I need to get me a printer and start running it up. I need to be like, okay, I got social security cards over here. I got IDs over here. Anybody needs a birth certificate? Like, come on. I'm in the wrong business.
These are the 3 U.S. citizens from Mexico arrested and charged: Facundo Donato Mencez Garcia, Francisco Javier Otero Rosas, and Kenneth Harith Uloa Rodriguez. The Cook County Sheriff's Office says this shows migrants at the end of the year stole over $40,000 in merchandise.
Damn. And shout out to Nakia. Appreciate you coming through with the Cash App. Nakia says, keep up the great work, brother. I appreciate you. Will do. Will do. We giving you this new black media, y'all. I wish when I was coming up, we had the live streaming thing and the content creation game on lock to where we could have control over our own narrative so we can be our own news source. But hey, we can at least be a part of the solution and not a part of the problem. Thank you again, Nakia. Appreciate it.
River North, and for January it's almost half of that. Urban planner Roger Romanelli says it's a sign of desperation and failed government help.
You can't bring people to the United States, cram them in manufacturing buildings, and expect them to figure out how they're supposed to get a job in our state of Illinois.
Now, all 3 of those suspects were placed on pretrial electronic monitoring, and we are told that more charges could be on the way. That's because those drugs found are now being tested to determine if it's all indeed meth. Live tonight, Tia Ewing, Fox 32, Chicago.
Tonight, only Eyewitness News was there as an army of police fanned out at migrant facilities.
And at the beginning of the stream, I said everything they do from A to Z is illegal. They come here illegally. They do illegal crimes so that they can get illegal paperwork so that they can work legitimate jobs illegally. And now we're going to get into their primary mode of transportation. And the East Coast, they've got this crazy pandemic, this crazy epidemic where they're using these electric scooters. They've got these e-scooters that are supposed to be registered. They're actually like mohicular vehicles, and they're running around with fake license plates on it, the tags off, and a whole bunch of crazy shit, y'all. There's this whole crazy epidemic of scooters littering the street. Illegal scooters that the illegal immigrants are riding to go do their illegal deeds. How about that?
Throughout the city, targeting a problem that's exploded in recent months: unregistered scooters, which cops say have become a persistent quality of life issue, particularly in Manhattan.
We had to come here and we had to do our job.
The first order of business here was they went for the bikes. Dozens of bikes without registrations, some with plates stolen off other bikes somewhere in the city, all immediately carted away on a police flatbed. Tonight's operation was about a lot more than illegal bikes, though. It comes after this melee near Times Square over the weekend when nearly a dozen men, believed sources say to be asylum seekers, attacked 2 police officers. 5 were arrested on the spot. Tonight, police caught the man in yellow and were still hunting for as many as 5 more.
We're not going to tolerate that, Josh. We're not going to tolerate individuals attacking our police officers. That's not going to happen. We will comb this globe to look for you and bring you to justice.
NYPD.
That soft ass motherfucker just said, we will comb the globe. We will comb the globe to look for you. Sir, you guys already found the people that beat your fellow officers' asses and you arrested them and let them go. What are you talking about? And I think that officer was a tether too. I think that man's was a tether as well.
The Assistant Commissioner Kaz Daughtry led teams of cops tonight. Some scoured the area around the Row Hotel, a migrant center in Hell's Kitchen, and they inspected more of those bikes, which have been involved in a growing number of robberies and the focus of police citywide for weeks.
We are seeing an uptick on scooter robberies in the city, particularly in Manhattan South and Manhattan North, where individuals are on scooters, normally 2 on a scooter, and they're taking your cell phone or they're taking your AirPods, your Beats.
They taking your cell phone, your AirPods, your Beats. Y'all, these criminal immigrants, y'all, these criminal immigrants. And peep game, don't most of them come from South America? Isn't that as South American as the bachata or the merengue? I mean, don't we see commonly videos of them in South America, Brazil, etc., pulling up on scooters and robbing people for cell phones and shit? I mean, that's just how they get down in South America. That is literally like their go-to crime in South America. So are we surprised that now they come here and they're getting a bunch of illegal scooters and doing drive-by robberies? I mean, come on. Put a 1 in the chat, y'all. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys are aware of how frequent the scooter robberies are in South America. I mean, this is wild. They're just bringing it up here.
Your wallet, your purse. So we are seeing a little uptick on that, and we're going to be over aggressively going after these illegal scooters and mopeds that are on our city streets.
Okay, we're back live at the Migrant Center at Randall's Island. I apologize, my earpiece had gone out earlier. Did want to say, breaking just in the last several hours, police did make 2 additional arrests in the assault on that police officer. Police were very upset that many of the people who were arrested originally in that case were immediately released on bail. It's not clear what charges these new...
So the police are upset that their fellow police officers released them with no bail. I mean, all right, maybe you guys should do your job. I mean, how do you guys choose to release them, but then the officers are mad that they did what the organization instructed? I'm confused, guys. I'm confused. You can't want justice, but also not punish people that assault officers.
Suspect will face. Police making the point tonight that they want the world to know that while asylum seekers are welcome in New York City, lawlessness is not.
Yeah, why the fuck you lying?
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God, stop fucking lying.
Through traffic in the back of a cop car looking for bikers. You've seen the pattern, a shooting in the city, a suspect on a scooter. Is that the vehicle of choice for criminals right now?
Right now, that's the #1 vehicle because it's evasive and get away quickly, and it's tough for a police car to catch up to them.
So last year, Chief of Patrol John Chell created the NYPD's Community Response Team, tasked with going after illegal vehicles. They started with 12.
Nah, don't give me that, Emmanuel. Emmanuel says New York City has no bail for most crimes now. Nah, I got hip to a story earlier today of a brother who was just suspected of shoplifting, and he sat in Rikers Island with no trial, no bail for 3 years. When he finally got released, he took his own life. So, yeah, I don't know how recent this no bail thing is.
Officers and now have nearly 200.
Illegal bikes are off the street, the guns are off the street, and you'll see violence come down even further.
The NYPD says shootings are down 26% citywide compared to last year. This team has confiscated nearly 8,000 illegal bikes. But they've also contributed to a spike in police pursuits.
Our mayor has given us the mandate to start playing offense out here. We're not playing.
Now they're going to play offense. Now they're going to play offense. Okay. Y'all been playing offense with the black folks in NYC for a long, long time, but it takes you so long to take the kitty gloves off when it comes to responding to the migrants. Okay. And man said, thank you so much for the contribution. I appreciate you putting 5 on it. There, guys, if you support the content, put 5 on the Cash App or the PayPal. 5 might not seem like much, but it adds up at the end of the day. Each one teach one, each one got to support one as well. And I hope to give you guys the entertainment mixed with the education, the medicine with the food. So if you support the mission, put 5 on it and hit that like button.
Defense, we're playing offense.
So how do you catch a scooter when you're in a car? We went on patrol with the team to find out.
We have an injured female.
Our first stop, a woman hit by an unlicensed moped on the sidewalk of the Grand Concourse. After hitting her, the driver ditched his bike and ran so fast he forgot his shoes. Minutes later, police found the suspect in his socks. He was arrested.
A migrant ran so fast he ran out of his shoes, and that looks like an FBA sister. That looks like a Black American sister who got ran over by an illegal scooter by an illegal migrant.
For reckless endangerment.
I didn't do anything wrong.
The team took the unregistered bike. The woman was taken to the hospital to be checked out.
Don't worry, we got you.
And Emmanuel, thank you for educating us. So that story I was mentioning was Khalifa Brown, and that was 6 years ago. The no bail thing was within the last 2 years. Oh, coincidentally, when the migrant crisis, really started popping off a couple years ago, that's when they said no bail, huh? No black, no bail.
Back in the car, a call on the radio came about a group of people on scooters riding recklessly. So we're trying to circumvent them with the rest of the team and surround them in a sense so that they can't escape on the bikes. This team tries not to follow directly behind. They work with aviation to trail the bikes discreetly.
Every officer has the ability to look at their phone to see exactly what our air support team is seeing, and will give us the ability to come up with an attack plan.
Damn, that's how the New York City police be on your ass. They can just go on their smartphone and see the aerial like a UAV Call of Duty drone. They can just see what the fuck the police chopper is filming. Oh, damn. That's why NYPD be having things locked down. They got everything locked down when it comes to us, but when it comes to the migrants, I mean, they letting the crime run rampant.
After a 10-minute ride, the cops catch up with 3 of the bikes parked by a grocery store.
So what they do is they steal the bike and then they scratch the VIN numbers off. That way you can't identify who the real owner is.
The drivers claim they found the bikes like that. Cops confiscated them and issued summonses to the riders. How do you measure if this is working?
Well, if at the end of tonight, no one gets hurt from the community, none of our cops get hurt, we don't take a shooting, we take that as a win.
It's not all wins.
Is that, well, if our cops can make it home to their children without getting their head caved in by the boots of a migrant, then that's a win.
The Attorney General is currently investigating the deaths of 6 civilians, all killed during NYPD pursuits in the past year. Are any of these cops being reckless in their pursuits?
Look, every pursuit, whether it be a pursuit from leg and behind or up close, is inherently dangerous, and we try to mitigate the best we can. And I tell you, if we make a mistake, we take that very seriously.
Back on the road.
Yeah, Orlando, like they're gonna obey the summons. They didn't obey our legal migration process. Why do we think they're gonna obey a court summons? Like, what the fuck? These motherfuckers aren't obeying the registration DMV laws. Why do we think that they're gonna obey a court summons? Motherfuckers are shoplifting, starting fake ID rings, but we think they're gonna show up to court because they got a paper.
The last call is for another roving group of reckless scooters.
They just pulled into the driveway.
Once again, the team uses aviation intel to shadow from a distance. We dart through the Bronx for 20 minutes, eventually following 2 of the scooters home.
Independent from any contact with us, aviation observed them on video, driving on the sidewalks, driving through red lights, putting people at risk and in danger.
And that's what the migrants are doing. Fast and Furious Tokyo drift on some fucking e-scooters. Riding on the sidewalks, running red lights, don't obey no traffic laws. Come on. I'm glad I don't live in New York City. I might get ran over by a migrant on a scooter. Oh, Lord, I'd be mad at God. I'd be upset at God if all of a sudden I opened my eyes and I was in heaven because I got ran over by a tether on a scooter. I said, Lord, why you got to do me like that? Lord, at least let me go out being a revolutionary of sorts. Don't let me get clipped by a migrant on the scooter, not by a mushmouth on a scooter, Lord, no.
Police put 2 of the drivers in handcuffs and brought out their scooters. The VIN numbers are filed off, a felony, and this engine has been hot-wired.
Right here. See? This is his key right here. He had it on the bottom underneath his glove. Where were they stolen? Where did they find them? Why were they driving the way they were driving?
The suspects head to the precinct for processing. The scooters are confiscated to be crushed, and the community response team finishes up another night. In the Fordham section of the Bronx, Allie Bauman, CBS 2 News.
Shout out to the Bronx, y'all. Shout out to the Bronx. Y'all got to get them scooters off the street. Come on. Hey, I remember when the Uber scooters and the Lime scooters and stuff really first got big in the city I was in, and people were causing a fuss because those scooters would be all over the sidewalk. Those scooters are little compared to them big ass mopeds, and I think it's disingenuous that they're even calling them scooters. Those are mopeds. Some of those are gas mopeds that they're driving on sidewalks and running red lights in.
It is NYPD policy to terminate a vehicle pursuit whenever the risk to officers and the public outweigh the danger to the community if the suspect is not immediately caught.
Why the fuck you lying?
Also announcing they are cracking down on illegal motorized scooters. They've been doing it this past week, impounding a number of vehicles on the Upper West Side. In the melee, a police officer was slapped, reportedly by a migrant. But as Fox 5's Ashley Rodriguez reports, many motorized bikes are being used by migrants struggling to find work when they don't have permits.
Police impound illegal mopeds on West 71st and Broadway this week. As their owners, many who are delivery drivers, look on.
Hey, if y'all want to get to a bag in 2024, get yourself a printer, start making documents, or start wholesaling scooters to the East Coast. Or find a bunch of knockoff North Face jackets, because for some reason these migrants straight fresh from the border are getting these fresh ass North Face jackets. I don't know where from.
They confiscated 4 mopeds, 9 bicycles, 1 motorcycle, and arrested a woman who slapped a police officer while her bike was being taken away. The incident happening just feet away from the Stratford Arms Hotel, now a migrant shelter. But the NYPD has their work cut out for them.
Again, this is why I do what I do when I do what I do. Everyone wants to talk about them filling up the schools and the homeless shelters and the hotels, but no one wants to talk about the crime that is circulating those areas. No one wants to talk about the crime as a result of them inhabiting those areas. God damn it, why is no one really talking about the crime like that? Come on, it took me maybe 30, 40 minutes to put together this compilation of all these different criminal acts, but god damn it, why is nobody really talking about the crime?
A long line of unregistered motorized bikes are parked out front of the Roosevelt Hotel, the migrant shelter in Midtown.
Y como somos migrantes.
A newly arrived Venezuelan tells me without papers or permits to work, many migrants rely on food delivery jobs to help feed their families. In his case, a wife and 3 kids under 6.
At the Starbucks and McDonald's corner, it's like a big issue. They had to put like floodlights there because they just congregate. My husband and I joke, we call it like the Skid Row of the neighborhood. It's like a canker sore.
While some West Side residents are...
Damn, Becky says they joke and say where the migrants hang out is like the Skid Row of the neighborhood. It's like a canker sore. Oh, damn, 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 damn. They canker sores.
Please, the cops responded to their complaints and impounded the bikes.
Here they are everywhere, and I am so terrifying that one day I'm gonna get hurt.
The migrants say it's the only hope of getting on their feet.
Para su familia.
A migrant telling me he worked as a delivery driver for a month, but found it very dangerous and was happy to leave it behind for a job in a barber shop. The city council, the mayor, and Governor Hochul have all come out recently saying that they are pushing the federal government to expedite these work authorization permits. The mayor says there are thousands of jobs in this city waiting to be filled. The Biden administration says it's working with the city and state this month to streamline the process for eligible migrants to get jobs. But in the meantime, hundreds of migrants pour into New York City every day, which could mean the number of illegal bikes.
Every day, hundreds every day. And to keep it a buck, some of them are coming as far as Africa, y'all. Them Africans are getting plane tickets to get to South America, and then from South America, they're walking to the United States. I mean, take a look at this video and let me know if you even spot one Mexican. Let me know if you see even one Hispanic. I don't see no Hispanics. African. Oh wait, maybe that one guy. Or 2 Hispanics, I think. I think we got 2 Hispanics. Yeah, I see a whole lot of I am the captain now type niggas. I see a whole lot of janky hairlines. I see a whole lot of mismatched clothes. I smell jollof rice. I don't see a lot of Mexicans, y'all. Come on. I don't see a lot of Mexicans. They running on over here, y'all.
Booyaka, booyaka, run, run, run. Booyaka, booyaka, run to you niggas. Booyaka, booyaka, boom, 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 boom. Booyaka, booyaka, run to you niggas. Booyaka, booyaka, run, run, run. Booyaka, booyaka, run to you niggas. Booyaka, booyaka, government.
Let's go.
They rely on to bring in money goes up.
There needs to be better infrastructure in place to receive them and help them find work.
Ashley Rodriguez, Fox 5 News.
Yeah. We've got a migrant crime wave on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. Last call, hit the like button, hit the Cash App, hit the PayPal, put 5 on it. Let's get into it. This is a story that not a lot of people are covering. The migrant crisis, we know there's a migrant crisis, but let's get into the details. Let's get into the particulars of this migrant crime wave. From documentation forging to prostitution to sexual assault to stabbing to stealing to illegal unregistered vehicles and everything in between, y'all. These migrants are felons within a week or two of being in the country. Within a week or two of being in the country, they're committing all types of felonies. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as soon as this stream ends, don't go anywhere. Stay on the same screen you're currently on. There will be a 10-second countdown, and then we will segue into our next live broadcast, where we will be reacting to some street interviews of some Africans in Africa saying a whole lot of greasy shit about us foundational Black Americans. Oh, Lord. Them Africans in Africa, when they get interviewed by a fellow African and they get asked, how do you feel about Black Americans? Oh, they start saying how they really, really feel. So if you're interested in that type of content, don't go anywhere. As soon as this stream ends, there will be a 10-second countdown, and then the next stream will automatically begin. I'll see you guys over here. But before we get out of here, once again, huge shout out to everybody that put 5 on it during this broadcast. I appreciate the support. Thank you for supporting New Black Media. I couldn't do this without y'all. And don't go anywhere. The next stream is beginning right now. I'll see you there.